and welcome to the Sheep and Cheerful Podcast, episode number 10. My name is Nikki. I am your hostess and CEO of all things Sheep and Cheerful. I'm coming to you from the south coast of the United Kingdom, where I live with my husband and our two grown children when they're not at university, our two dogs, now our chinchilla, and various fish and other critters that come and go because Joe and his girlfriend have hamsters. I'm not sure how I got into that straight away, but anyway, welcome. Basically, this is a podcast all about knitting, spinning, weaving, sewing, stitching, journaling, and my attempts to live a creative and cheerful life on a day-to-day basis, regardless of what life throws at you, really. Like to catch it and throw it back, that's what I say. I can be found on social media as Clara Peggotty, and basically that's Instagram and Ravelry. Nope. Excuse me, I'm not going to cut that. That was Henry decided to stretch and I just saw that go. Oh, I'm going to have to put this flat. It's my guillotine for my paper cutting. I just saw it start to go and fall towards me. I managed to catch that. So apologies about that one. You know, with me, it's all completely natural. What else? Yes. So you can find me on Instagram as Clara Peggotty. You can find me. I've now turned to the wrong place on my notebook. You can find me on Ravelry as Clara Peggotty. And we have a Ravelry group for this podcast now, and it's fabulous. It's a great group. So I do encourage you to head on over there if you haven't already joined. Drop us a line in the introduction thread. We've got all sorts of folk make up the group. Lovely bunch of people. Even if you're shy, take a deep breath and just say hello. And we have 2 make-alongs going on, which I will speak about in just a moment. I wanted to get all the usual gubbins done first. What else did I need to say? When you watch this, it will be Thursday, the 18th of June. I'm not even going to pause on that point. Middle of June. It's going to be 3 days to summer solstice. 3 days to midsummer. To coin a phrase, where has this year gone? I think we all know the answer to that, don't we? So we'll just skim over that lightly. But yes, soon be midsummer day. It will soon be the longest day, as we call it, even though the day is the same. It's just the most light day of the year. And I was going to say something really flippant about Christmas then, but I'm not going to. No, we won't get into that yet. Plenty of time for that. Right, so what else? Say a Thursday, my usual podcasting day. It's all a bit different today. So let's start with a little bit of news. First of all, I have a new camera. So it's all a little bit strange and interesting for me at the moment. I am staring down the lens of a new camera. My lovely son, Jonah, who is at home, as you will know if you've watched the podcast before. He's currently training to be a paramedic, has now officially finished his second year at uni. So he'll be going back down to uni in September for his final year. Now the phone's going. Yes, he will be going back down to university in September to start his 3rd year. But in the meantime, he's home and he's very techie. He used to do gaming videos on YouTube and all sorts of things like that. And he bought me a new camera as an advanced birthday present, an early birthday present. My birthday's quite soon. And he felt he wanted me to have a proper camera rather than try to record on my phone. My phone was perfectly good. Obviously, the camera on the Apple iPhone is very, very good quality, but we had real problems transferring the files across to my computer, and we don't even want to go there. So he bought me a little special sort of vloggy, podcasty digital camcorder, and I can now use a simple SD card, whip it out and whip it in my computer, and it's done. And you can do really cool things on this. You can put stamps on the picture on the screen, so I could put like hearts or a rainbow. But the only thing is, you'll see me doing this because it's a reverse image. So whereas with a phone and you do a selfie, your right hand is your right hand. Of course, that's still my right. It's still my right hand. But when I look at the screen now, that looks like my left hand. So it's all a bit bizarre. So do forgive me. I'm having to get used to all this stuff. But hopefully I'll soon get into the hang of it. Anyway, so that was my early birthday present from my lovely Joey. What else exciting has happened? Yes, we also have a chappie outside, right outside the front of my window of my craft room, who's given all our cars, because the children are home and they drive, they've got their cars on the drive. So Gary's decided to give the cars a treat and have them valeted and washed. I know, fancy schmancy. Mainly because he doesn't trust us to do a proper job. There you go. So he's out there doing that. So I have to be quite, I couldn't record this morning because he was making a lot of noise with like hoovery, washy, power washery things. And I've also changed my room around, my craft room. So I'm actually sitting at the same desk or the same place, but instead of having the sofa below the window and the other desk to my left, I've now got the sofa to my left and my other desk in front of the window, which is lovely because I've got lots of light and I can look outside when I'm working. So I really like that. Just getting used to it at the moment. As I say every week, the dogs are also in here. So apart from Henry trying to knock the guillotine over, was he trying to knock that onto my feet, do you think? Was he making a point? Nah. So they may be moving around, so there'll be a little bit of background noise there. Right, how long have I spoken for? I can't even see on here, which is probably, good. It might stop me talking too much. What has been going on this week? And if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know the story of the bananas then, won't you? I shop online. Have done all the way through the COVID lockdown. And I have a regular shop that I have delivered, and that I shop for my mum and dad as well. So I do a double lot. And last week I ordered some bananas. We have bananas every week. And those of you who do this online, you can, with fruit and stuff, you can say items or kilograms. And mum and dad wanted 3 bananas. I got 3 kilograms of bananas. 3 kilograms is actually a lot of bananas. Plus, I had ordered some for us as well. So I got another pack of 8. Honestly, it's hilarious. I couldn't believe it. I will be making some banana bread once they weren't ripe. They were very sort of yellowy, greeny colour. So some of them have sat in the fruit bowl, and when they're a little bit riper, I will be making some banana bread. I've also, thanks to some suggestions on Instagram, I have chopped them up and put them in the freezer so that we can have them as kind of a banana ice cream, because I know that's our Weight Watchers trick. That works really well. And somebody, who was it? Was it Rachel? Rachel suggested that you have them frozen with peanut butter and cocoa powder. Oh my days, that just sounds so delicious. I might have to just do that before I get back into Weight Watchers. That's fine. I've had a few new things in this week. Had a bit of a spending splurge last week, not on big stuff, but on some bits and bobs, which I will share with you because there's some really nice stuff. Well, obviously, I think it's nice stuff because I bought it. Oh dear, I do feel like I'm all over the show. Really do. Let's have a look. Let's talk about Ravelry and the make-alongs. Okay, so the Ravelry Group is the Sheep and Cheerful podcast on Ravelry. You can find us there if you do a search. I've got 2 make-alongs going on. The first one is a joint make-along with Sherrie from the Ollie and Bella podcast. And Sherrie and I, as I've said before, are great friends over social media. Actually, we haven't met in real life yet, but we're hoping to one of these days, although we do live quite away from each other. And Sherrie and I decided we were going to do a Scrappy Blanket knit along. So we are running the Scrappy Blanketadventures make along, and it can be knitted or crocheted. We're not specifying which, and provided your blanket isn't really 50% of the way done, so you've done less than 50%, you can jump right in with the one you've got on your hook or your needles right now. It will run all year. We'll be dipping into it from time to time to do prizes, just to keep us all encouraged. But of course, the main thing is that we're going to have some fun chatting, and there's possibly going to be some scrappy swaps, some mini skein swaps. We'll all just encourage each other to keep going with those blankets. If you have more than one, all the better. There are some folk, Sherrie included, who've got quite a few scrappy blankets on the go. And even those, if you're doing, Jooles, So Sweet Violet, is doing a magic knot ball along. And if you're doing a magic knot ball, you could always make a scrappy blanket and double dip into our podcast group as well. So just jump on in, stick a picture in. So you can do that in this Ravelry group, or you can go over to the Ollie and Bella podcast Ravelry group, or you can dip into both. We've got quite a few folk who flip between the two. You can post in either or on both. And Sherrie and I will be looking, obviously she moderates her group, I moderate mine, but we do jump across and have a look at each other's posts and what have you. So do jump in there. It is fun. These are long-term projects, and it's nice sometimes to have the motivation to keep going. I will be sharing mine with you in a little bit in my whip section. The second make along we've got going on, I started it last week, is the I've Finished Mum make along, which is how long we're going for? We're running from now through to the end of August. And the idea is to pick up, dust off all those whips that you know you need to finish, but that you've kind of lost your mojo for, or that have been dragging on and on. Something that you really want to get off the needles, and it's going to be a real achievement to get it done. So I've just got that running in the Sheep and Cheerful podcast group. You can jump into that make along. Again, it can be knitting, crochet, it can be a cross stitch, it can be quilting, it can be any crafting project that you've had on the go for a little while. Doesn't matter how close you are to finishing. The fact is, it has sat there, or maybe you just cast on in a fit of enthusiasm, did a few rows, put it down, and then never went back to it. I'm not guilty of that at all. But join in there. We're all going to encourage each other along. There's been some ideas and some suggestions where people are struggling. One of the things I do, and that I have been doing with a pair of socks, is trying to put, say, 4 rounds a day, or even 2 rounds a day onto it, because you know that just keep chipping away and you will get there. Small bites of the elephant, as my dad used to say. So that's going to run through to the end of August. And again, there will be prizes. I haven't decided what yet. We've only got the chatter thread up, but maybe in a week's time, a couple of weeks' time, I'll put a finished object thread up that people can then post their finished object with the I finished mum hashtag duly deserved on that one. So they're the 2 make-alongs we've got going on at the moment. We've got, Sherrie and I have got so many ideas between us for so many other make-alongs. There's going to be really exciting things come, and we are blending very much our 2 Ravelry groups at the moment. So although they're separate, there's going to be a lot of joint stuff going on, which is great because we can mix it all up a bit. Some people who might not have visited Sherrie can visit her and get to know her. People who haven't known me can come over to me. So it's really lovely, and we're really enjoying building up this lovely group, little community we've got going on. So that's Ravelry. That's what's happening over on Ravelry. Oh, if you need to contact me, you can either direct message me on Instagram. You can message me in the comments section on the YouTube podcast, or of course you can send me a message in Ravelry, either on the group or a direct private message. That's absolutely fine. I endeavour to reply to everybody. I endeavour to reply to all the comments one way or another. So, oh my goodness, what a load of waffle. Let's just have a drink. Okay, I will show you something that I'm going to share with you. That was a little bit of a sad moment for me yesterday. A little bit of a sad moment. I've had a bit of a challenging week. Well, we have all challenging weeks, don't we? In fact, it's over on the settee now. I will get it. And sometimes, do you find that when you're feeling a bit kind of meh, you suddenly get the urge to tidy up and to clean up and to clear everything, just clear the decks, because that's what I get like. I mean, don't get me wrong, it has to get pretty messy before I do that, but that's what I like to do. So I've been having a clean up, and I decided I would wash the bedding and the blankets that the dogs use, and also our blankets from the lounge, because they do get a bit dogged, shall we say. So I washed my lovely granny stripe crochet blanket, which was lovely. That was beautiful. I put it on a wool wash in the washing machine because it was super wash yarn, so that was all fine, and I hung that out to dry. And then I needed to wash one of my quilts, my hand sewn quilts, so I did that, and I grabbed another blanket that I wove. That it isn't a dog blanket, but I've often got it on me and the dogs cuddle me, so I thought, right, we'll put that in. So I put that in the washing machine. Yeah, you're guessing what comes next, aren't you? Just a minute. Don't go anywhere. Oh, there's a bell. I'll tell you all about that bell in a minute. I'm going to whiz along over here. Excuse me, honey. Yeah, so my big, lovely blanket. Oh, it's a disaster, Mr. Bennett. It's a disaster. Look at this. What I have done. It has felted, and it's got all that sort of wrinkly bit where some of it is felted more than the other. So yeah, this was a single bed size, can I just say. And of course a lot of this is hand spun. I wasn't thinking when I put it in the washing machine. There you go. That's my big blanket. From there. So I'm thinking, actually I think that, the way that's ruched, can you see that? Is that gonna, the light's good there. I think that will be fabulous in a project bag. So I think I'm gonna make a project bag. Oh, I can make a skirt, look. It's already gathered. Look at that. Oh, turn the wrong way again. Look at that, you can't really see. I think that could be a thing. Oh, I'm in the wrong. I shouldn't move around, I'm not used to it enough. Anyway, there we go. So next time you're having a bad day, just remember the shrinking blanket. It's a bad day. It's not good, is it? It's not good. Right, I have one finished object for you this week, and it's not a knitting project, it is a sewing project. Very small, very quick sewing project. And I'm just going to show you because it's just here. Oh, hang on, I've got to get it all nice. Are you ready, Freddie? Hey, can you see that? So I have made myself a pin pennant. I still get the knack of this. I put a tassel on the bottom. There you go. And then I found this fabric was just from my scrappy bin. This is actually a coaster. I've got a set of these lace coasters. They're so pretty. In a sort of a cream. that I picked up from a charity shop a while ago. And then I had these. These are actually, look, little miniature. Now, am I going to have to do the whole... There you go. They're knitting needles. Whoops. So, yeah, I made a pin pennant. Oh, really not very good at this, am I? I haven't got many pins. I've not been collecting pins. I'm not haven't been a great person for that, but I thought now's the time to start, jump on the bandwagon. As usual for me, late to the party, but I've got Mabel, from Jooles, Little Grey Girl, oh for goodness sake, come on, West Green Laugh Yarns, Sinister Cardigan, which I love. Down here we've got this one, I don't know if you can, it's not going to show up, is it? That's actually got Hugs from Clara, but it's wooden, which is why it's not showing up. So yeah, that's my pennant. I've got it on pink velvet. Pink velvet ribbon. Sorry, I'm really distracted with this. And what I did with this, because I didn't have, put it down there for now, I didn't have any wadding, and I made that just really, I looked at a couple of pictures I liked on the internet, and I thought I need to put a little bit of wadding into it, and I didn't have any sort of craft room with no wadding. So what I did have was some heat-proof oven glove wadding. So actually I've got a heat-proof pin pennant now. So, you know, worst come to worst, I can use it as an oven glove. Anyway, I really like that. I just made that day before yesterday when I was feeling a bit miserable, and it's up next to my desk and it makes me smile. So I'm going to have to start collecting pins now. So that was my only finished object, but I have some works in progress. Obviously, as you know, I have a lot of works in progress. So I've just picked out three knitted ones that I'm going to talk to you about today, that I've got a little bit of progress on them. Actually, it's going to be three. I won't show you my chicken sweater. I'm hoping to get down to the sleeves and separate on those before I show you that again, but that's going well slowly now because I have 1163,000 stitches on the round, so it's taken me a little while. But what I will show you is my entry for the I Finished Mum make along, or one of my entries, even though it's not officially an entry because obviously, you know, I can't win a prize from myself. Are my Soul Sisters socks by Jooles Hill and Amy Lowden. So it's, I haven't got a picture. So that's my record card, my project card. The yarn is Lottie Knits, who has her own shop on the internet, just as Lottie Knits, I think. I'll put all the links again in the down bar, in the detailed description below for people. So, there you go. I was here last time, and now I'm here. No huge progress, but can you see that? It's such a pretty pattern, and look how the yarn on the back is sort of getting these stripes. What I'm doing is it's a 4-row repeat, so I'm just putting on 1 repeat each day. I like these socks, but for some reason, I don't know why, the oomph isn't there. So I just think, right, I'm going to do 4-row repeat every day, and then it will, excuse me, that's my phone, and then that will soon get done. They'll be done easily. I mean, there will be days when I do more than 4 rounds, so, you know, but as long as I know that minimum I'm going to put in just 4 rounds a day, it just means you chip away at them, doesn't it? So that's that one. They're the Soul Sisters socks. You've seen them before. I have started sock number 2, but I'm not at the heel yet. So yeah, that's those. What I have put some time into are the Wish You Were Here socks that I started. I think I just started them last week in my lovely bag that Karen gave me. I tell you that every week. So these are the Wish You Were Here socks. It's my record card. And you'll see there, these were going to be my entry for the Summer Sock Camp 2020. That's run by the Crazy Sock Lady. But I haven't actually got around to joining the thing yet. Now last week, let's show you, I'm knitting these from a sock blank that I dyed myself some years ago, which I really love. It's all the purples and the indigos and the blues and all that sort of thing. So you can see that. It's a single sock blank, so I'm just pulling. For those of you who don't know how sock blanks work, you're literally unravelling this and you're knitting with it to make the sock. And there's no, you kind of can read a sock blank a little bit, but one like this you can't. You can't see, the sock isn't going to look like that. It's going to look very different, and you can see. Because I have put the heel in. These are shorty socks. I have put the heel in and I am now coming down the foot. So if I put my hand in there, ooh, and then the back, you see this is where I'm coming down. I've got some micro striping going on there. And then here, ooh, there you go, you've got light, it's gone a bit darker, and then it's got darker there. It's a slip stitch heel that I've done. I love this. I love the colour, I love the texture. With a sock blank you get crinkly effect until you wash them, and that's really nice. And then I don't know if you saw that, that's the pattern. I think, oh, that's quite good, isn't it? That goes down the foot, and it's on the right hand side of the foot, on the right foot, and the left hand side on the left foot. Yeah, loving it, loving that. So there you go. I started these, if you remember, I started these on the Higher flyers, which I thought was still in here. I must have taken them out. I just couldn't get on with them. If I'm going to use DPNs, I'm happy to use proper DPNs. I tried so hard, but actually they were making my upper arms hurt. I think I was so tense with them, and I just didn't like them. I tried and I pushed on. Maybe another time I'll pick them up. When I first tried using a mini circular, I didn't like it, and now I'm liking it. So, but at the moment, I just wanted to knit the socks, and I didn't want it to be an effort, and I knew if I left them on the flyers I wouldn't pick them up. So yeah, I'm just sticking with that, with these. These are just I think they're Knit Pro Zings 2.25 millimetre needles, and I'm loving it. So yeah, putting in a bit of work there, so that's good. Okay, what's next? Right, we're back, and you will notice that I put my hair up. I had a quick watch of what I just filmed because I wanted to make sure that it didn't look too disastrous, and I think we're okay. I think I might have just got away with it. So as I say, please forgive my shonky filming for this episode. I've just got to get used to this new camera. Also, I am sitting a bit further back from my desk, and it's weird. I've actually got nothing in front of me because I don't want my face to like take over the whole screen. So little things like that need to be sorted out, but we get there. We get there. Right, okay. The main feature then of my episode this week is going to be my Scrappy Granny Stripe blanket, which is my Cupcake stripe blanket by Attic 24 is the pattern. It's the one I showed you last week, the one that I'm entering in I'm crocheting along for our Scrappy Blanket adventures that I've already spoken about. And I have made quite significant progress on it. And I'll tell you for why. I've got some bits to show you there. On Friday night, Saturday night and Sunday night, myself, Jonah and Hannah decided to watch The Hobbit. We decided to have a Hobbit fest. Gary's busy working, so he was in the office, aka our dining room. Sounds better we say the office. And so the kids and I sat down and we did a 3-hour Hobbit stint on Friday night, a 3-hour Hobbit stint Saturday night, and a 2 3/4 hour Hobbit stint on Sunday night. And that was just prime crochet blanket time. Although by Sunday night, when it got really exciting with the Battle of the Five Armies, I kind of may have put the blanket down for the last half hour or so. But anyway, so I got going, and I will show you. I'll talk to you about that bell in a minute as well. So now I got a brilliant tip from, can you believe the doorbell's gone again? I'm hoping. No, I'm going to have to pause it. Honestly, I'm fated one way or another today. I say that every week, don't I? Life in a busy household, what are you going to do? Gary was on the phone, Carman had finished, and now he wants to go out. I needed to get into the garden to get his extension lead. Oh no, she's all right, she's good. Now Jonah's taking Henry out for a walk, so Honey will probably be rushing around all over the place wanting to know where he is. Right, breathe. What I was about to show you was my Scrappy Blanket, wasn't it? I'm so excited about this, and I can see that no, we're okay, we're good. Yes, I'm trying to think who it was. Lovely lady left me a message about how not to lose the last stitch of my crocheted row by putting a progress keeper in the stitch. I mean, it's these simple things, isn't it, that are just brilliant. So I've just done that. So turn this around. So last time, oh that's right, I was telling you about the Hobbit, wasn't I? Right, so that's where I was last time, where my little ice cream stitch marker is there, and I just put in the 2 swaps I'd got from Karen over in Australia. I've put her 3rd one in there now, but so when I do this it doesn't look a lot, but I have done that much more. Ta-da! Now I'm looking at the viewfinder, trying to see. So yeah, there's the thing, and I've done those rows. So that's 3 Hobbit movies. I'm not a fast crocheter, but look how cool it is looking. Whoa! There. That's not shrunk, is it? So yeah, I think I'm nearly halfway, you know. I'm so enjoying this. I've fallen so much in love with this. So as I said last week, I'm using leftovers and minis, and I'm holding them double with some drops 4-ply alpaca, just in natural, just in undyed. And in fact, yeah, I need to order some more. That's why I stopped doing it. I went through 2 balls of the drops, the 50-gram drops, to get those rows. But I am so loving this, and let's have a look. I'm pretty sure that this colour, the speckle, was the colour Karen sent me. But I can tell you more about that in a moment, because I've got a new knitting journal, crocheting journal, blanket journal to talk to you about. Anyway, so this is my current granny stripe. So I've had, 3 evenings where I've sat down. Probably if I'd have worked on my sweater, I could have got to the sleeve separation. I could have got a pair of sock or half a sock done. But I just really, really wanted to work on this. And do you know what else I'm going to do? What I really want to do? I want to cast on another one. And I am going to cast on the Bits and Bobs blanket because I've seen that pop up in the Ravelry Group quite a lot. And I've seen other people knit it in the past. When the pattern came out, I can't think, about a year or two ago. And I love it. And I think that's probably the one I'm going to cast on next. I've been keeping all my little, this yarn bowl, where is it? There. I've been keeping my leftovers in there, and I'm actually going to make a magic knot ball out of these. Whether or not I'm in time to jump into Jooles' So Sweet Violet's make along, I'm not sure, but I'm going to use these as well in my next scrappy blanket. So with this one, I can get a 10-gram mini. I can get 2 rows, and it's a 2-row, well, it's a 4-row pattern repeat actually, but it's split into, so it's 2 rows of doubles and 2 rows of clusters. So yeah, this looks, I tell you, it's quite off-putting. It looks very overexposed on the screen. I'm really hoping that I'm not overexposed. Anyway, so yeah, scrappy blanket. Thank you very much. So let's put that away because that was one of the things that I ordered this week. This is my basket that I keep my scrappy blanket in. It's really quite an old one. It's Cap Kidston raffia basket, wicker basket with some really lovely lining. Can you hear that? I bought from Jooles this week. Oh dear. I don't even know because it's tied on. Can you see him? This little guy. Yeah, Jooles' little teddy bell progress keeper. And being a sweetheart she also sent me a lavender sachet. But this little guy was going to go onto my blanket, but you can hear the noise it makes just moving the bag. And funnily enough, the children put their foot down, their collective feet down, to be watching, Smaug flying from the castle, ready to burn Lake Town to the ground, and hearing a little ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling in the background as my blanket moved as I was working on it. So I had to put that. I put him on my basket, which is better because I get to see him all the time then. So yes, so that was one of my purchases last week. The post is so slow. Really slow. I'm hoping that those of you who got your knitting project cards have received them, or at least are starting to receive them. They've all been sent out. So I really hope that they're getting through to you okay. But one of the other reasons I really wanted to get on with my scrappy blanket was because I wanted to launch my Secret Diary of a Scrappy Blanket project journals into my Etsy shop. And I wanted to show you how they work by having used it on myself. I basically wanted to know if it worked. So this is where we're at. This is mine. Okay. So the way this works, I will show you. This is unlike the project keepers that I've already been sending out to people. This is standalone. So this is a standalone one because it's a big project and a long-term project. I wanted to give it its own little book. And again, this is something I wanted to do for me. And I spoke to a couple of people. They really liked the idea. So I thought I'd make some up. So what I've done, you've got your craft card here. I have decorated mine with this, and then I've matched the back with the coloured paper and some washi tape. Easy done. So if you want to get one of these, you will get a cover with the printing on, but without the decoration. So it will be up to you as to whether you want to cover or decorate or whatever with your project covers. But I think it's got to be something that you personalise, which would be really great. So on the front, you'll see the idea here is, and it is, those of you who know, and I think Karen tweaked with this last week, that it is based on, I've kind of taken the idea from The Secret Diary of Adrian Mole, age 13 3/4. I think he was 13 3/4. But here, of course, we won't know the age of our Scrappy Blanket till we finish it. So that's to be filled in afterwards. So then there's 2 sections to this. So you've got the first section, and I have put, again, you would get a project divider card in there. Okay, so I have just covered my brown craft card with some other paper, but you could prettify it however you like. So the first half of the book that you will get 20 pages included, and it will basically be, I'll show you the first page. So they're multicoloured, they're all different colour pages, and this is my first page. So I just hold that there so you can see what's on there. Very similar in principle to the Project Keeper cards, the record cards that I've been sending out. The difference here though is that each time you work on your blanket, you've got a chance to put in maybe some thoughts and some memories or what you're doing. Obviously I put here, we watched The Hobbit Part 1. I've got a little thing where you can see there if you want to put what the weather's like. I put a little thing there to, if you feel inclined to put what your mood is. And then I've got details of the yarn you use, how many rows or how many squares. So you can use it for a granny square blanket as well, whether it's knitted or crocheted. I have then punched holes in the bottom. There you go. And I've added, once I'd finished the row of my blanket, I added a little tag of the yarns that I used. So now I know that on that day they were the rows that I added. And it only took a few minutes to do that. So, oh, there's Jonah coming back with Henry. So the next one, now this one, I also sewed in some ends. But I've also put, just go that way, I could remember the make of the yarn that I put in. So I put those in there. You'll see also here I've got coloured rings on these. I've got some pink ones on mine, but I've got multicoloured rings. So you've got 20 pages, plus as usual, if you do want to buy one of these, I will send you the download so you can print your own cards after that. Okay, that's the dog going mad. Now Honey's going to go mad because, yeah, they get a biscuit. So, just a second, be right back. Need to let Honey out. Okay, so apologies for that. That was what I've been working on. So you get the 20 pages cut, plus you get the PDF file where you can add more as you go along. You will also get, just for a bit of fun, I added some inspiration pages. So this one, The Only Impossible Blanket, is the one you never cast on. There's, and I just, yeah, you have to appreciate my sense of humour with these. And these are just spread throughout the journal. Oh, there you go. So all little inspirational things like that for you, where I've misquoted other famous quotes. So that's the first half. The second half of the journal is concerned, deals with your scrappy stash. And I don't know about you, but I don't always know or remember things that I think I'm going to remember. I think we've talked about that before, haven't we? So now I've got to cover this up because I've got someone's address on here. Oh, here we go. Right. So when Karen sent me those 3 mini skeins from Australia, I was then able to go to my scrappy stash section of my journal and add in the details. So as soon as I got them in, I added in the details. I have actually written her address in there so that I know if I want to send something back, if I want to reply, or just, surprise, Karen, I'm going to write to you. I've got the details there. I have also, as you can see there, attached scraps of the three, these three that she sent me. So I know for sure that they're the colourways she sent me. And then I put on the back of this one in particular, on her envelope, she stuck a picture of, I'm not sure what it is. It's not a sloth. It's not an anteater. I'm not sure what it is, but it's really cute. Plus the yarn labels. So I've kept those. So on that one card, I've got all the details of what Karen sent me, when she sent them, what the address is, and I've actually, because I've added them in, I put the number, the rows that I added them into. I have chosen also, though, to sort of do a double entry. So when I got to, where are we, row 59. Oh, I counted back actually, I didn't. Oh look, let me just, this is what the first one is. I have added a second lot of colours. So in my stash, in my scrappy stash, I've put, okay, let's show you a better one here. So this is one I had in my stash that Tracy from Nora George Yarns had given me ages ago when I made a blanket for her. So I've got it there. I've got the sample, I've got the details of it and when she gave it to me. When I used it the other night, I also added that and I added the sample into the front to show that I'd used it. Now what you could do, of course, is you could just take that scrap off the stash bit and then put it in the front. In fact, that might be a better idea. Sherrie came up with that. Thank you, Sherrie. So then you know that you've taken it out of your stash and you've actually used it in a blanket. That would probably be better. In any event, I'm just trying to find you now. The scrappy stash cards look like, so that's what they look like, plain ones. I don't know if you can see that again. I'm not totally sure what you can see on the screen. So you've got date in, so the date you receive it, the yarn, the weight, as in how much, not whether it's fingering weight or double knitting. Date out, so the date you use it, leftovers from which project, given to me, swapped with or sent to, and other things to remember. So for example, if it was a fibre share, you might want to put fibre share. If it was a Christmas swap, you could put Christmas, or if it was just a random swap or a gift, or you bought it at a show. Anyway, I like to remember things like that. They don't seem very important as I'm doing them, but when I look back in a month, 2 months or a year's time, I really love having those sort of details. Really love it. And as I say, so that was something I knew I wanted to do. And I will start, when I start, oh, there's a cat just run up our drive, brave cat. When I start my Bits and Bobs blanket, I will start a similar journal for that too. I'm going to have one for each blanket. And it will live with the blanket and I will just add into it as we go along. Anyway, probably enough about that, but I'm so excited about these. I think they will be such a lovely memory for the blanket, especially if you're doing a blanket to give away. Or if it's like a baby blanket, you could fill one out and then you could actually give it to the mum with the blanket so that the baby, if it's like a grandchild, when they grow up, they can see what was going on when grandma knitted the blanket or crocheted the blanket. And you can put as much or as little detail in there as you like. I'm just going to probably go for a one-liner, but you know. So anyway, I'm going to put a handful of these into the Etsy shop on Friday evening. And if they're successful, if people want them, or if you would like them, I will then put some pre-order listing up as well. So I'll put some in just to see, because they're quite a lot of work. They're not, obviously, I'm not going to be hand painting or decorating them. They will be plain brown fronts, but with all the pages. But cutting up, sorting out, putting all the different pages in is quite a lot of work. So I'm going to put these into the shop for £8 for the journals, and then plus postage, and also that will include the PDF for extra pages. So yeah, and if you want one, I will put a pre-order listing up if you're not able to get one on Friday. I think that's it. I think that's all I need to say about those. Very excited about my Scrappy Blanket though. And it would be very cool, wouldn't it, if we're all doing the Scrappy Blanket Adventures make-along, if we all had our little journals. But that sounds terribly marketing, doesn't it? I don't mean that. You obviously don't need one, but if you want one, that's where they will be. Oh, and there goes the bell. Right, my goodness, that was that. Again, I thought I'd be short on content this week, but I just seem to waffle for England, don't I? What am I like? Another thing I bought this week that is game changer, absolute game changer, and I've been meaning to buy one for ages, is one of these babies, a rechargeable lint remover. Again, I'm probably late to the party. I've had a cleaner, just one that I bought from Lakeland that you just sort of scrape across, a manual one. But my Rosa cardigan that I made from Kettle Yarn Company yarn was really, really pilly. It was pilly when I was knitting it, and it was pilly when I was wearing it. And it made it look old, which is a little bit disappointing, really. So I invested in one of these. It's rechargeable, and I used it at the weekend, and oh my goodness, it was amazing. So I'm going to be depilling all my sweaters. But yeah, really, really good. Really fun to use as well. I was going to turn it on, but... such a child. Anyway, that was really good. I bought that off Amazon. I think it was about £12. Obviously, there's lots of other ones. I just chose that one because it looked good, and I like the colour because I'm shallow like that. Right, that was another purchase. There was another purchase. I bought some Stitchmarkers this week. It's so pretty. From Yarn and Craft on Etsy. I think I should take them out of the packet. There you go. How about that? Can you see that? Am I in? There. Take them out. I've got a thing about progress keepers at the moment. I'm really loving, and I got one more as well. So when I said I splashed out, you know, really splashed out here. It's so pretty, a little rainbow, and then it's got the little 3 beads in front of it. Oh goodness, there. I think you can see that anyway. You can get the gist. Because I want to put those in my project so I can show you how far I've got. And then the other, oh, here it is, one which is really, really cute progress keeper, is this one. Whoa, look at that. And that's Mrs. G Makes. She's on Etsy. She's a new to me maker. She makes them to order, so it took a few days, but you know, under a week, including the post at the moment. And that's her card. Bespoke in all things crafty. That's Amanda, her name is. If you can't, I'll put her details down below anyway, but I love that camper van. She had quite a lot of really nice ones. So that was those. Oh goodness, what else? How are we doing for time? It's 11 minutes. What do you reckon? Are we on for some more stuff? Spinning. I have been working on my spinning. I haven't finished the first 50 grams spinning of the poleward that I was working on last week, but I have done quite a lot more. So that is sitting over there behind the camera, and I'm going to work hard at getting that done this week, because I also got in the mail before last week's podcast. No, after last week's podcast. The fibre that I had ordered from Hilltop Cloud, Katie at Hilltop Cloud, who was the very first fibre diet that I ordered fibre from. And in fact, I will, where is it? Ah, there it is. Because you wanted to see the back of my head, didn't you? It's worth it though. Just look at this fibre. Look at that. How gorgeous is that? So it's teal and pink and blue, black. So Katie is Hilltop Cloud. She has a great website, and she was going to all the shows, but obviously isn't now. This is Cambrian wool, which is a cross of a Welsh mountain sheep, and a blue-faced Leicester. And I got 2 because these are dyed, what did she call them? They're dyed in the same way, so basically I could spin them to get the same colour repeats going. I love those. I can't wait to get those on the e-spinner, but of course I have to finish the other one that I'm working on at the moment. So that was that. I did also buy some yarn from Helen at Giddy Yarns. You'll know I bought from her before. She did a shop update on Saturday for the Wool Monty virtual show. That was another one that's been cancelled. And sorry, my cushion has slipped right down the back, has been cancelled. So she did a live, and I watched that. As I said before, I know Helen. I've met her several times through Socks on the Beach and various other things. And it was lovely. It was lovely to be able to buy some yarn from her. So I will show you that next week. I will probably have that. What other bits and bobs have I got? I've got some English paper piecing I've been working on. I'm not going to share that with you now, I don't think, because I have waffled a lot about the blanket journals. Oh, so many things to share with you. My goodness. What I will do though, let me check in my book. Yes, I did want to just briefly talk to you about Arne and Carlos. I was looking at various things to share with you, and what I wanted to share with you was, the dogs are scratching at the door, my memory book that I made. Now, I made this a couple of years ago. Well, let's just show it to you, shall we? Let's just do this. When I made it, I put it on Instagram, but I want to make another one because I'm getting into all the papercraft and journaling. This then led me to Arne and Carlos, which you'll see the link in a moment. So this is a book that I made. Oh, no, look, one of my hairs. Apologies for that. So, okay, so I made that. I bought this book again a couple of years ago. And it is the Arne and Carlos Make Your Own Idea book. And I was really excited about the idea of hand stitching and hand binding a book. This is a cracking book. So this got me into thinking, I'll talk to you about my collection of Arne and Carlos books. But first, this was the book that I made. I've only made one. I have every intention of making more. I have the supplies to make more. But I love this, and this became my sort of gratitude come memory book. And I made it with all the old patterns that I had knitted up and that I'd kept but didn't need, because obviously we can print our own patterns off when we like. So let me go to the back because the front is pretty much used up. So I did, so for example there, that's a bit of a pattern page there. There is another one there. There. This was a tin can knits pattern, obviously, that I'd made. So what I did, I alternated, because I knew this would be a book that I would stick things in. So it didn't matter that I had those. And I wanted to use up, my leftover paper. And I just thought it would give it a really nice feel to it. So I did put some coloured paper in, But mostly, oh, there's a Helen Stewart one there, look, Curious Handmade. Whoop. So, and what you do is you do, so here's some that I didn't use at the time. And you'll see that you fold them in half in little groups. And you machine stitch down the middle, fold them. Put all those together. And then you sew all these together by hand and build it up and so on. And that becomes the book. So we can see here, well, I've got various things. It was kind of, I suppose, my own journal in a way. I've written quite a lot there. Oh, the Creativity Festival I went to. Hang on, so there's some classes that I took. There. Oh, I think there's a photograph that we got of, ooh, let's do that, of Gemma, Debbie and I at the Creativity Festival. And then I used it as a notebook for knitting things. I got some colour inspiration, so I stuck those, oh, it's very shiny. Stuck those in there. This really was an everything book. There we go, Yarndale. That's when I went to Yarndale. And I was helping out, I was exhibiting with Christine from Rowick. There's Carmen's card there. I've got some thank you letters for things I've sent to people. Oh, the Socks on the Beach retreat. I've got the details in there. Yarnporium. Oh, I've got lots of bits and bobs. And I love this. And so doing these journals, doing the Scrappy Blanket journals has really got me inspired to, I do want to make another one. Probably not quite so thick because this is bulging. I did tie so I've got the ribbon on it to keep it closed. But I've got some other lovely memories I want to start keeping in there. So yeah, so this was the book I used, the Arne Carlos idea book. There are some supplies it suggests you need, things like bookbinding glue. I mean, look at those photos, aren't they just beautiful? Bookbinding glue, some bookbinding webbing, but they're all fairly inexpensive and easy to get hold of on the internet. So if you fancy having a go at that, I do highly recommend it. It's really good fun. And then back in the day, I have quite a collection of Arne Carlos books. So the first one I bought was the Christmas balls to knit. And be warned, there's more than likely going to be a knit along of these. I've had this for years, ever since it came out, and I absolutely love it. And I knit a few every year. I've met Arne Carlos. I met them at the Alexandra Palace Knitting and Stitching show, and I knocked their display of yarn over. I really did. I got in a right faff. But yeah, they had a big display there of all these. I'm trying to find some. I'm sure most of you would have seen these, but let me find a page. Oh, there's some on the back. So basically you knit baubles. And they look great on the Christmas tree. So that was my first one. Then they brought out an Easter knits one. So I bought the Easter knits. And actually, this bunny here, I have made. He's stuffed over there somewhere on my windowsill. I won't go and get him. But they have Easter baubles, which, yeah, I haven't made Easter baubles. But they have some other really sweet patterns. And I do love their bunny patterns. Look here, so they've got bunny on skis. Oh, let's get you that. Look at that. So cute. And then he's in the chalet relaxing afterwards. And then there's eggs, baskets of eggs. And I used to make an Easter tree every year with the kids when they were younger. And I used to put things on the Easter tree. I don't anymore, but look, you could do something like that. That is so cool. So that's their Easter knits book. Then I bought the slippers to knit and felt. Never made anything from this. I got to the point when I just wanted to collect their books. There's some, I mean, they're lovely. They're really fantastic, these. I'm trying to find a page of them. And they really go to town, as you can imagine, on their colour work on these. With the different moccasins. I mean, but I have never got round to. Oh, look at that! There's a new sock pattern. Didn't know that was in there. Then the next one I got was their knit and crochet garden, which this is lovely. So they've got some really, really sweet makes in here. This is kind of turning into a book review, isn't it? So perhaps I won't do a review at the end this week, because you probably had enough of me. But this one has got, the hippies, he calls them. So if you've got a little girl or a little boy in your life who you want to make little dolls for, look at those. And there's clothes in here. Flower Power Children. Look, they do dresses. Look at those dresses. I might have to make those now. They're so cute. I mean, it's just, you know, the photography in this is wonderful. It's so much fun. It really is so much fun. They've got a scarecrow. They've got granny squares in here. How to join the granny squares and various other things. That's a lovely one. I'll look at that later. Then they released their field guide to knitted birds. Their birds are just brilliant. I got this secondhand from a charity shop. Look. I just loved the birds that they make. Hang on, let's show you what they do. I think this book might be like that. I want to make all these things now. This is not good for me. So you've got, all the birds have got various different bits of colour work on them. I love those. I want to make all the birds now. 40 projects in there. And then lastly, because I had to have it, I don't even know if they've brought out any more books since I bought these. I mean, this colour work is just amazing. So this is their Greatest Knits book. And if I show you, the cardigan on the back here is just amazing. Look at that. But look, you've got dolls, toys, socks. I might have to have an Arne and Carlos along. I love that. I might do that. Because then that could include Christmas baubles and you could make them now. They have a mouse called Magnus. He's really cute. Oh, look at the Rudolph slippers. Now, can I show you this again without... I can't show you in all good conscience. I can't show you the chart, but wouldn't you just love to make those for somebody? They are so cute. What do you think? Should we do an Arne and Carlos along? Possibly a bit, you know, let's get some of our other stuff done first. Oh, look. Okay, so sock yarn teddy bear. That might have to go on my list. Oh, I'm so excited now. So, Arne and Carlos, Greatest Knits. Look at those sweaters. Wow. So that is my Arne and Carlos. And I call them Arne and Carlos. It might be Arne and Carlos. Apologies. But I've always called them Arne and Carlos. And that's just the way it is. So you can make books, sweaters, slippers, dolls. Wow. I'm very excited. I may have to stop this podcast right now and go and cast something on. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think that will probably be instead of the book review. I was going to review One Day in the Life of Ivan Denisovich, but I'll save that for next week. I think we've probably had quite enough of books. Let me look at my my little list, and I think probably it's time for me to say toodle pip. I've done that. I haven't shared with you my EPP yet. I'll do that next week. I have another whip that I haven't shared with the podcast at all at the moment, and once I get to the sleeve separation on my chicken sweater, I'm going to actually pick up the other sweater, the cardigan, so I'll share that with you next week. Hopefully I will also have some spinning to share with you. I've still been busy doing my Bible journaling in my traveller's notebook. I've got lots more things going on there. And I think that's probably about it, isn't it? Do you think I should wrap up now? I can also hear the dogs clattering around outside, so they're probably waiting for some dinner. I've no idea what's the time. I'm half an hour overdue for their dinner. What sort of mother am I? I have to take Henry to the vets tomorrow because he's got, well, he may have developed diabetes, but we're going to wait and see with the blood test tomorrow. So, yeah, I've got to take him up there. Although it's not brilliant, it's not a problem for me. The dog we had years ago when we were first married actually developed diabetes. I think I was either put on this earth to nurse diabetic dogs, or I'm the kiss of death for dogs and I somehow give them diabetes. But with Safi, our old dog, I used to have to inject her with insulin every day. So it is what it is. We shall deal with that, won't we, as it comes up. So, yes, that's enough. I apologise once again for my wonky camera work and for pointing the wrong way and the right way. Hopefully this will all come out okay when I upload it to YouTube. Please do give us a thumbs up, leave a comment below. As I say, it might take me a few days, but I read all your comments as they come in and then I reply to them. I will certainly endeavour to reply to them before next week's podcast. If you have any questions, let me know. If you haven't subscribed yet, it will be great if you wanted to subscribe and get notifications for when I post a podcast, and hop on over to the Ravelry Group. It would be lovely for you to join us. Sherrie isn't planning a podcast this week, but I will give you the heads up when she does. But in the meantime, obviously hop over to her Ravelry Group as well to check things out there. If anybody has, if anybody's got anything they would like to donate as prizes for the Ravelry Groups or giveaways, then always happy to receive those. It doesn't matter, I don't need donations because I have quite a fair stash of my own and things that I can, I'm happy to buy and send out as prizes. But obviously if anybody would like to do that, that would be great. And I think that's probably about it. I think I need to wrap it up, zip it up. I hope you've all had a good week. Keep on sending lovely messages and, as I say, chatting in the Ravelry Group. And I will look forward to chatting with you again next week. Same time, same place. In the meantime, be more sheep and keep cheerful.